During that, on one of our attacks, this was before we got to the coal mine deal. We were coming down off in the mountain making an attack. We were taking a break. It was, I'd say about 3 o'clock in the morning. And we were, the line, it came back down the line for us to take a break. And we were all so tired. I can remember coming up through there that they had fallen asleep walking. You know, I was so tired. And the only way you'd stop was to run into the guy ahead of you, and you would wake him up. You would wake up, and it'd be. But that was something else too. But anyway, this was before we got into this mess here. We was coming up down this mountain, up in the mountain, coming through. And they called back up for a break, and we sat down for 10 minutes. We sat down, and while we were sitting there, it was just starting to get a little bit daybreak, a little light, and we heard some noise off to our. Let's see, we were coming down. This would be off to my left. Some noises, and we were. A couple of us. I know I was looking over that way, and whether anybody else was or not, but these string of troops came up through, and about 6 men ahead of me, who was a German patrol, and they walked right between us, about 6 guys down from me. And they kept right on going right through it, and they never said boo. We didn't say boo, and they kept right on going. And I never knew what happened to them, but nobody ever said nothing. They just let them go. Whether they didn't know who we were or what the deal was, or
they had weapons?
what, they just played it smart or what, I don't know.
They had weapons?
Yeah, they were all armed, although
How many were there?
There was about 9 of them. It was a 9-man patrol. And they went right on through, and they never stopped. Nobody even challenged them or nothing. They just kept on going. And as our break was over, we went up over this hump and then started down through this side of this mountain we were going down. And it was still pretty dark down in the trees. There was a lot of pines and stuff in there. And we hear every once in a while ahead of us, I can hear this thump, you know. And you hear some guy start swearing a couple of times. And when he got down there, I figured to myself, there must be a drop off or something down there. I was going to be ready for it. So I took my time going down. The guy behind me, he had his hand on my shoulder, and I was going kind of slow. We got to this one point, and I started to step over, and there was nothing there. So I thought, well, I'll be smart. So I got down and took both feet over, and couldn't feel nothing. So I don't know, must be just a little drop off. I must have dropped 10 feet, and I could hear the guy ahead of me. He lost his helmet, he lost his rifle. I managed to hang on to mine. I don't know how, but I did. But, I must have dropped 10 feet. And I walked another couple of feet, and well, next maybe another 10 feet, and I was in a creek bed. And where I happened to be, I happened to pick the deepest spot the creek was, and it wasn't over 3 or 4 inches deep anywhere through there, but we had to pick one where it was a couple of feet. Now I remember going through that, through the creek bed, up over a bank. We crossed the road, up a bank, across another road, and then started up the mountain on the other side. This was getting just about daybreak, or pretty close to it, and I know we crossed in front of a German machine gun, a nest. And they never opened up on us. We went right on through. I must have been no more than 6 feet from one. And we, the whole string of us, we went right through them, back up the mountain, got about halfway up, and we run into another bunch of GIs coming from the other direction. I don't remember one of the other battalions we ran into. But then we started back. They said we had to go back down and clean off the foot of the mountain we just came up. So that's what we did. We went back down through there, and that's where we were running, where we went by the machine guns. They were opened up. and we got tank fire there. Our own tanks fired at us. I got a lot of holes through my raincoat I had on, and Greg got hit. He was right side of me, and we went down the line, and that's where two guys jumped out of a foxhole, maybe 50, 100 feet away from us. And I didn't even aim, I just swung around and fired, and the second guy went over the bank into the road. I nailed him dead center. He laying in the road down there. I went down and looked at him afterwards, about 3 days later when he came through there. And I took a pistol and a few other opposite things off from him. But I lost Greg there.